Geneva today as Washington pushes to finalize President Donald Trump's controversial plan to end the nearly four-year war. The talks come as Kyiv demands changes to the 28-point proposal, which would require Ukraine to cede some territory, limits its military, and abandon any bid to join NATO. President Volodymyr Zelensky says diplomacy has been reinvigorated, but insists the bloodshed must stop without sacrificing Ukraine's sovereignty. European leaders meeting on the sidelines of the G20 warned the U.S. plan has major flaws, including risks to Europe's security and concerns that Ukraine was not properly consulted. Zelensky has also said that there is an understanding that America's proposal will include a number of elements based on Ukrainian perspectives and critical for their national interests. Now for this discussion, we welcome Reinvigorated. He's an international affairs expert and former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Raymond, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, what do we know so far about what's included in these talks and the peace plan made by U.S.?
Well, thanks very much for having me. What we know is that there is a requirement for the ceding of territory beyond that which is held by Russia now in the Donbass. We also know that there is a pledge against ever joining NATO, but going much further than that, there are limitations on the arms, the defense mechanism that Ukraine could have. Those are very, very crucial points. There are some points in there about rebuilding from the destruction which has been wrought by Russia on Ukraine, but there doesn't seem to be any enforcement mechanism. You know, as we've discussed in the past, to have peace, you have to have a strategy to wage peace, just like you do for war. You have to have partners, and you have to have principles in regard to what is the outcome. Those elements really are not here. President Trump has said, well, if President Zelensky doesn't accept this, he can just fight his little heart out, basically indicating an abandonment of Ukraine. You know, in 1994, there was in Budapest an agreement signed by Russia, by the United States, by the United Kingdom, that if Ukraine would give up its nuclear weapons, which were left over from the Soviet Union, then there would be security guarantees of the sovereignty of Ukraine as an independent nation. Unfortunately, what this agreement does, that's being discussed in Switzerland, is basically jettison that in favor of some sort of protectorate arrangement between Russia and Ukraine, much like that which existed at the time of the Soviet Union and the Russian Empire, and still exist into Byelorusia. And this seems to be what Putin wants, to restore the old Russian Empire, the old Soviet Union. So it's a very distressing approach. You know, there is one a U.S. senator from South Dakota who says that he was briefed along with other senators by Marco Rubio, and saying that this is basically the Russian plan. And of course, there was a secret meeting of a Russian official who was already sanctioned by the United States. They had a meeting in Florida, and basically that's where this plan came from. So Donald Trump, President Trump, wants a Nobel Peace Prize. We all want peace in Ukraine. The killing is terrible. The invasion is a contravention of the United Nations, but this does not seem to be a way in which to get long-term peace. It seems more like appeasement of Russia.
Right, as you rightfully mentioned, and thank you for highlighting that, there's no enforcement here. Without any enforcement, how effective could this, whatever comes out of these talks, could be? And also, what do you think Trump's motivation is here suddenly? Do you think it is because he lost a lot of MAGA support during U.S. government shutdown? Or do you think he's realistically trying to get Russia and Ukraine sit and talk peace here?
Well, I think you have to say on behalf of President Trump that he really does abhor the killings which are going on. That having been said, it's plain that there's no real foreign policy of the United States now. What there is an attempt at aggrandizement by President Trump to be able to say that he's a great man, that he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, and that he can really chalk this up as a victory and go on trying to appease his MAGA base, which really wasn't in favor of supporting Ukraine in the first place. So I don't think that this is out of character at all with the president's approach to foreign policy. It's just another real estate deal to him. And once it's done, then he can claim victory and move on to other things. Ronald Reagan, President Ronald Reagan at one point said you can achieve a lot, you can accomplish a lot if you don't care who gets the credit. Well, the President Trump approach is exactly the opposite. Unless he gets the credit, he doesn't think that anything has been achieved. So this is a very difficult time. One hopes that the great democracies of the world, India, in Western Europe, Japan, will have an influence here to say that, you just can't have appeasement. You've got to be able to come out of any of these terrible conflict situations with a long-term approach which will have peace and not peace at any price, but peace with justice and adherence to democratic values.
Yes, indeed. With that, I would like to thank Raymond for sharing that.